Hey everybody, this is ViewMasters Reactions, and I just finished watching episode 2 of Umbrella Academy. There is a new format of the way I'm doing things now. It's been such a struggle, I've actually noticed other reactors' videos getting pulled. The moment I'm speaking right now, nobody, as far as I know, has a reaction to Umbrella Academy episode 1 except me, and it's like 2 minutes long because it's shaved down to nothing. Everyone else is getting pulled, so I'm trying to figure out ways around it. There are 2 other videos up right now for episode 2. One is the full reaction, one is the abridged reaction, where I actually infused clips from the episode in it. Now, the clips have no audio, but I do a voiceover and I explain what's going on. I don't know. You guys let me know. I think they came out pretty good. This, however, is the review of episode 2. We see the 7 orphans with the father, their younger kids. We see that Vanya, Ellen Page, is at the head of the table. I thought that was very symbolic that she was at the other head of the table. I said in my reaction, I believe that she is going to be the most powerful of all these people and like our Dark Phoenix of the Umbrella universe. I think she's going to be crazy good. And that was their way of symbolizing, like, hey, she's at the head of the table. She's like all powerful. The father's at the other head. So there's got to be symbolism there. Number 5 gets into a fight with his father, Reginald, basically runs away. And while running away, see, on my first watch, I thought he was bopping through to the future. Like he went like 10 years in the future, 20 years in the future, 30 years in the future. And then he was where the world ended. So we found out the episode 1 that the world ends in 8 days. So it can't be him riding through time in the future. He must have been just jumping into different time periods, because at one point it was snowing, at one point it was like summer. So it couldn't have been within the 8-day span, even if he was jumping like days. It couldn't have been snowing in one, summer in one, and then the world is just completely destroyed. Within 8 days, that doesn't happen. So when he was running away from Reginald, he had to have been leaping through time back and forth, like in the past and the future. Interesting. He basically got trapped in the future. So then we see number 5 talking to Vanya back in present day. It's the end of episode 1. It's continuing off where that left off. He finishes his story. Vanya then makes a comment which actually makes sense, how Reginald said that by him time traveling, it could mess with his head and he could start going crazy. So we don't know. Granted, he did appear and disappear, but they don't know where he went or where he was. To them, he was gone for like obviously a years, but not 40 years like he's saying. He's saying he was gone. He's like 63 in his head. So he was gone for decades. Maybe he teleported somewhere and he lost his mind. He went crazy. We don't know. We see what he's showing us. Like, we see that he thinks he went in the future, but that's just from what he thinks. He could still be crazy. I don't think he is, though. I think he really is, because why do all that? I hate when shows do that. So I really hope that isn't the case. Anyway, we're going to pretend it's not. Deserves to be mad that they don't believe him, but it is what it is. They don't, like, no one knows. He disappeared. What are they going to do? Like, it's not like, oh, I trust everything you say. You vanished for however many years it is. So then we see that wrapped up in a hanky or whatever, he has an eye. And on this eye, it says Mirotech. It's probably from the future. And that is what is going to prove he isn't crazy, or that there's something really going on. Time traveling assassins come in and they try to get a motel, and you find out that whoever they work for is a cheap ass and they won't splurge for 2 rooms. So I believe it's Hazel and Cha-Cha. The agency they work for is apparently cheap as shit. So how is it they can afford to travel through time and do all this stuff, but they can't afford 2 hotel rooms? I don't know, because if you're from the future, you have an unlimited supply of money. You could just make money. If you go back in the past, like, I don't know. Something about that, maybe it's for comic relief. The financial realist in me wants to believe that that doesn't make much sense, because you should have unlimited funds. But maybe they're not allowed to tamper with things and they don't want to rock the boat. So let's just buy that. They said 1989 when they gave birth. So if it is 1989, this has got to be present day. Why is everything like aged odd? Like their hotel room, maybe they just have a shitty hotel, I guess. But the hotel has white tile ceiling and brick walls. There's a lot of confusion so far with what time period it is with me. Even though they said 1989, I feel like they're throwing in lots of different time periods, like almost like to throw you off. Reminds me kind of like the movie It Follows, horror movie, where it is so cinematically amazing. I've watched it many, many times. On your first watch through, you're not paying attention. Your second watch through, you start realizing that everything's weird. They use devices that don't exist. They're always watching black and white TVs and there's always like horror movies on. It's like modern day. There's like newer cars. It's crazy. This reminds me a lot of that. I don't know if that's intentional or I'm crazy, but I feel like that's what's going on. Diego's ex-girlfriend is a cop. She's basically questioning the waitress to find out what happened at Giddy's Diner, why there are professional assassins dead all over the place, and why no one's there to, like, it looks as if these 3 guys or 4 guys, however many there are, killed themselves lethally. She begins to tell the cop lady, don't know her name, that the guy was here with the kid. They had a cup of coffee. They split when she went in the back to get changed. The next thing she knew, she heard gunfire. Everything shot up. Everyone's dead. Professional kills. But she assumed that the kid left with the guy. The reason we know that it's Diego's ex-girlfriend is because then she goes outside because the waitress tells her, why do I have to keep doing these questionings? And the girl goes, what do you mean? Why did you have to do this twice? And she then realizes Diego was there and already questioned this lady, because apparently Diego does this and has a reputation. What I don't get is, if Diego's such a slickster, why did it take him so long to leave the vicinity? The girl cop got there, met the waitress, questioned the waitress, then walked out the front and zapped Diego out the back door. Is Diego the worst ninja ever? Like, what is that? Granted, I'm assuming it's for the show, but I feel like the writing in this show is very on point. So when they make little slip-ups like that, I'm like, wait a second. You're trying to make me think Diego is like this martial arts slickster, and he got nailed out the back door. Unless he wanted to get caught so he could talk to the girl. That's my guess. I'm assuming nothing's happening by accident here, that all this is supposed to happen. So right now I'm assuming he got caught on purpose. So now we're outside Giddy's Diner, and we see that the futuristic assassins are there. The professional assassins are their guys. So they find out their guys are dead. They go and check the situation out. I'm assuming they weren't there when the cop questioned them, but I'm assuming they found out somehow or asked around because they now know about the tow truck guy. To sum it all up, it looks like Luther has a crush on Allison, and Allison says something to the effect of, "You're the only one I missed the most," or something like that. Like, apparently they have like more than a kinship. They look like they have crushes on each other, and they're not blood related, so not too weird. Then we see Klaus. Klaus is laying in rainbow underwear and hears voices of people screaming and yelling in his sleep. He is also on drugs, so I'm almost like split, like, is he hearing voices because he's a drug addict and he's just lost his mind? Or is the drugs trying to keep those voices at bay? I'm willing to bet it's the latter of the two. Then we see him wake up. Ben is sitting there. Ben just chilling out. Ghost Ben just chilling out. We still don't know much about him. And in walks Pogo. And now Klaus is having a conversation with Pogo while kind of still talking to Ben and pretending like he's not crazy. But Pogo must know his abilities. So, like, that's kind of weird to me, too. Why would he be so weird around Pogo? I'd just be like, Pogo, dead Ben sitting here. But I guess they have to build up the story, and I'm jumping too far ahead. Pogo then asks Klaus, hey, did you steal that thing you stole in episode 1? And we already know he stole it because we saw him do it. Begins a montage of Klaus running around, trying to pawn it off, selling some shit, going to the drug dealer, getting drugged up, going back home, stripping down his clothes, jumping into bed. And so we see him wake up. And now he is where he is. And he tells Pogo, no, I did not steal that, even though we know he just did and we saw the whole thing unravel. So Pogo basically is like, I know you're lying. I'm not going to say it to your face, but if you know who did it, please return it to your dad's office because it is priceless. Klaus kind of gives him a face like, I know you know that I did this, but I got no money and I want drugs all the time. Then we see Vanya wake up. Number 5's not there. She's a little concerned. We then see number 5 pop up in what I believe is Miratech, the place that has the that made the eyeball. He is an amazing actor. Grabs the doctor guy and is like, listen, motherfucker, I'm going to kick your ass if you don't tell me where this eye came from. The guy basically is like, security. He leaves. He's smart. He can't reveal his powers in public and fuck shit up for no reason. We then see he goes back to the apartment and Vanya is like, bap, 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 little speech. I care about you, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yes, yes, yes. Walk out. And then she leaves and Klaus falls out of the closet. I don't know why Klaus is in the closet. If this is like what I thought and the stairs and everything's the Umbrella Academy, why is Klaus hiding in his own house? Klaus lives there. Why would he be hiding in the closet? I don't get that part myself unless I missed something. If I did, please tell me. I don't know. Maybe they just were like, we don't want you to know we're scheming a plan, but I don't know. Something seemed weird about that. To the tow truck guy's garage, where we see him check his answering machine messages, and then all of a sudden, whack, right in the head, gets knocked out with a crowbar. He reawakens, and he is shirtless with jumper cables on his nipples, and the Mary J. Blige, Cha-Cha, and Hazel are torturing the bejesus out of him. We see Hazel eating a tuna sandwich in the back, runs over. I'm assuming he's going to have a little chat, and pops him right in the face with him tied up like this, with jumper cables on his nipples. They then go and get a photo out of the pocket, put it up against his face, and it is number 5 as an old man. So we do know now that number 5 did age. Like, I was very curious about that. Was number 5 always young for that entire period, or did he age and then de-age when he came back? We now know that there is an old man number 5 picture. So they line it up to the guy's head, the tow truck guy that is now hanging and tortured on the thing, and it kind of does look like him. Only old number 5 has hair and a thicker mustache. But if you shaved his head, put on a little weight, and got a smaller mustache, it kind of does look like him, and the age fits. He begins to tell them he doesn't know anything. He really doesn't know anything. All he knows is there is a kid there, and that the kid said he was going to a department store. They then hook more jumper cables to his ears and begin to shock the shit out of him. So we don't know what happened to him, but they are torturing this poor man to death. We then see Allison having a conversation on the telephone. It is with who I think is her ex and is her ex. We then see Vanya walk downstairs and basically try to console her and be like, oh, I overheard you, blah, blah, blah. And Allison ain't having it. And it's just like, you got no room to talk, you're a piece of crap, and dips out and totally shits on Vanya. We then see why Klaus was in his closet and why they probably didn't want Vanya to know. Klaus is going to pretend to be number 5's father and goes back to Meritech to see if they can get the information on the eyeball. This is my favorite part of the episode because it is like straight out of Fight Club. Klaus basically tells the guy, I'm going to tell people you touched my son, who isn't even his son. But the ages might match up, I guess. But he goes, I'm going to tell people you touched my son. He goes, what are you talking about? He's like this and pops him right in the face. Klaus just nails number 5 right in the jaw, bleeding out the side of his mouth. The doctor guy is like, are you crazy? And Klaus is like, yeah. And then he picks up a globe off the desk. And right before he does it, I'm like, holy shit, is this going to happen? It smashes the globe into his head. Now he is straight up Fight Clubbing the guy, and he's like, go ahead, call security. When they come up here, I'm going to say you beat up me and my son. Now, this would probably never fly because I'm assuming they probably have cameras all over this place. If this place is making technology that is changing the future, ending the world, there is probably cameras everywhere. So this probably would have never passed, but I don't care because it is awesome. So the doctor then is like immediately like, holy shit, you guys are crazy. I need to cover my own ass. And he gives him the records. But there are no records because the eye has never been made yet. Therefore, between this point and the world ending in 8 days, somebody has this eye made in that period of time. And the person whose eye it is, I'm assuming, is the cause of the end of the earth. So, very interesting. Hey guys, it was a bit of a long video. Continue the rest in part 2. Comments down below, like and subscribe. I'll see you in part 2. Peace.